in this stuff.
Yeah, it's really interesting how much the restaurant world relies on the internet these days.
Yeah, for sure. It's not just about word of mouth anymore, right?
Not at all. People are online for everything, looking up menus, finding restaurants, checking out reviews.
And how much of an impact does that actually have? Do people really search for restaurants online that much?
Oh, absolutely. One of the articles we have actually mentioned that over 90% of diners search online before choosing a restaurant.
Wow. 90%. That's huge.
It really is. And you know what that means, eh?
If you're not showing up on those search results,
Exactly. You're missing out on a ton of potential customers.
it's like, what's it saying? A tree falling in the forest or something.
Uh-huh. Kinda. More like having an amazing restaurant hidden down some back alley.
Yeah, nobody's going to find it unless they already know it's there.
Right. So where do we even start with all of this?
What should restaurant owners really be focusing on?
Well, I think ground zero is your Google business profile.
Okay, their Google business profile.
Think of it as your digital storefront. It's the first thing people see on Google Maps, in search results, everywhere.
So is that even more important than having a website?
I wouldn't say more important, but it's definitely the first impression.
Right. Your website has all the details, like the full menu and photos, but
Your Google business profile is what actually gets people in the door, so to speak.
makes sense. So what are the must-haves for a great Google business profile? I mean, beyond the basics, like your name and an address.
Well, you got to make sure all that stuff's accurate. Right?
Of course.
Accurate hours, including any special holiday hours, so people aren't showing up to a locked door.
Yeah, that's important.
Your full address needs to be pinned perfectly on Google Maps,
Yeah.
and a working phone number, and of course, a direct link to your website.
Makes sense, so people can easily find out more or make reservations. Now I'm seeing a lot about the importance of photos in these articles. How crucial are those, really?
Well, put yourself in the customer's shoes.
Yeah.
Right, when you're looking for a place to eat,
I want to see what the food looks like.
of course.
Yeah.
And what about the ambiance?
Oh, yeah. I love seeing those drool-worthy food pics.
Right, so high-quality photos of your food, your interior, maybe even some action shots of your staff.
Ooh, that's a cool idea.
It's about painting a picture for potential diners,
Yeah.
creating that visual experience that draws them in.
And speaking of drawing people in, let's talk about reviews.
Yes. Review.
Reviews.
Everywhere these days, correct?
Feels like you can't buy anything without reading tons of opinions first. But how do they actually affect a restaurant's SEO?
They're huge. Reviews are like social proof. They show potential customers that others have had great experiences.
So just encouraging happy customers to leave a review, is that enough?
It's a great start, but there's more to it than just getting a bunch of reviews. Google looks at the quality, are they positive or negative, and how often they're coming in.
Interesting. So the algorithm's pretty sophisticated.
It is. And here's a little secret. Responding to reviews, good or bad, shows potential customers you're really engaged.
So it's not just about SEO, it's also about building relationships, even online.
Exactly. And speaking of getting personal, let's talk about local keywords.
Right. One of the articles mentioned thinking like a hungry customer, which I thought was a great point.
Yeah, it's about getting into the mindset of someone craving a specific food or a certain dining experience.
But how do we figure out what those keywords actually are?
Let's say you're craving sushi. What would you type into Google?
Probably something like best sushi near me.
Right. Or maybe sushi restaurants in your city.
Those are the local keywords.
Exactly. They're specific and targeted. They reflect how people actually search.
So once we've got those keywords, how do we use them?
You want to weave them into your online presence.
Okay, so like our website, copy, menu descriptions.
Yeah. And even the alt text for your food photos.
Great alt text.
It's the text that describes an image. It helps search engines understand what the image is.
So even the images can help with SEO.
Every little detail counts. And speaking of details, we got to talk about mobile-friendly websites.
Yeah, everyone's on their phones these days, especially when they're out and about looking for a place to eat.
Exactly. And it's more than just a smaller screen. Google actually considers mobile optimization in its ranking.
Oh, really? So it actually affects your ranking?
It does. And think about it. Over 60% of local searches happen on phones.
Wow, that's a lot.
It is. So if your website is clunky on a phone, slow to load, or hard to use.
People will just give up and go somewhere else.
Exactly. And that's not good for business.
Okay, I'm starting to see how all these pieces fit together, but it's a lot to take in.
It is. But don't worry, we're just getting started. We've got plenty more to unpack in this deep dive.
All right, so we talked a lot about Google business profiles. But it sounds like reviews are just as important for getting customers in the door.
Oh, absolutely. And, it's not just about getting those good reviews.
Right, you mentioned that it's about how you handle them, how you engage with them.
Exactly. Responding to reviews, good or bad,
Shows that you're really paying attention.
it does. It shows potential customers that you're invested in their experience, whether it was amazing or if there's something you can learn from.
So it's about building trust, showing that you're a present business owner.
Exactly. And that actually leads perfectly into our next topic, which is becoming a local content rock star.
Local content rock star. Now that has a nice ring to it, but what does that actually mean?
Well, think beyond your website and your Google business profile.
Okay, I'm listening.
Think about creating content that really showcases your connection to the community, something that provides real value to your audience.
Okay, give me an example. What kind of content are we talking about here?
All right, let's say you're hosting a wine tasting event with a local vineyard.
Okay, sounds fun.
You could write a blog post about it, highlight the vineyard, the wines you'll be featuring, maybe some behind-the-scenes stories.
I like it.
Or let's say there's a big local festival coming up.
Okay, yeah.
You could create a post, maybe on your blog or social media, about how your restaurant is celebrating, maybe even offering a special dish.
So it's about tying your restaurant to what's happening around you, giving people a reason to engage online.
Exactly. And remember those local keywords we talked about. This is a perfect opportunity to use them.
Oh, right.
Target those long-tail keywords, like best brunch spot your city or restaurants with outdoor seating near local park.
So it's a win-win. Valuable content for your audience, and it helps your SEO.
Precisely. Now, let's shift gears a bit to something a little more technical.
Okay, hit me.
Let's talk about website speed.
Right. One of the articles you shared really emphasized how crucial that is.
Yeah, and I'm curious, from your perspective, how do you think a slow website impacts a restaurant?
Well, I can tell you, from a customer's point of view, a slow website is just frustrating.
Oh, I bet.
If I'm hungry and trying to find a place to eat, I'm not going to wait around for a website to load. I'll just move on.
And you're not alone. A slow website means a high bounce rate, people leaving before they even see your menu.
And that's not good.
Not at all. And Google sees that as a bad sign. They want to show people websites that provide a good user experience.
A slow website definitely doesn't do that.
Nope. So what can we do to speed things up?
Well, the article I read mentioned caching, but I'm not really sure what that is.
Caching is basically a way to store data so it loads faster for people who visited your site before.
Okay.
Think of it like this. You go to a restaurant and always order the same dish.
I do that all the time.
Right. After a while, the chef might prep some of the ingredients ahead of time, so your meal is ready faster.
Ah. So caching does the same thing for your website.
Exactly. It makes things load faster for returning visitors.
I get it. So caching is important. What else can we do?
Each size is a big one. Those beautiful food photos are great, but they can be huge files.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Make sure you're compressing your images without losing too much quality, of course.
Okay, compress images. Got it. What else?
Clean code is important. It's like decluttering your websites behind the scenes. Make sure your code is nice and efficient.
Streamlined, right.
Yes. And speaking of behind the scenes, your hosting service matters.
You mean where your website is actually hosted?
Yeah. A reliable host can make a big difference in how fast your site loads.
It's like investing in a good kitchen, right? You want the best equipment so everything runs smoothly.
Exactly. And finally, let's talk about link building.
Okay, I've heard that term a lot, but honestly, I'm not quite sure what it means.
Think of it as creating pathways through your website for both users and search engines.
Okay, I'm with you.
There are two main types of links, internal and external.
All right, break it down for me. What's the difference?
Internal links are connections between pages on your website.
Like,
you could link from your menu page to your reservations page.
so people can easily book a table after they've checked out the food.
Exactly. Or you could link from a blog post about your chef's inspiration to a page showcasing your signature dishes.
So it's all about helping people navigate the site easily.
It is. And it helps search engines understand the structure of your website, too.
So internal links are like a roadmap for both people and Google.
That's a great way to put it. Now, external links are links from your site to other websites.
Okay, so how does that work?
When you link to high-authority websites, ones that are relevant to your content.
Like what kind of websites?
If you're writing about a local food festival, you could link to the festival's website.
Makes sense.
Or if you use local ingredients, you could link to your supplier's websites.
So it's about showing that you're part of a trusted network.
Precisely. It builds credibility and shows Google that you're a valuable source of information.
So it's not just about getting people to our website, it's about connecting with other businesses too.
Exactly. It's all about building those relationships and being an active part of the online community.
Welcome back, everyone. So we've covered a ton of ground on restaurant SEO, but I think it's good to zoom out for a sec.
Yeah, for sure. It's easy to get lost in the weeds with all the technical stuff.
Keywords and links and all that.
Exactly. But we got to remember why we're doing all this.
Right. It's not just about pleasing Google. It's about
Connecting with actual people.
real people who are looking for a great place to eat.
Exactly. Making sure your restaurant shows up when those hungry customers are searching online.
Yeah, and it's not just about any customer, right? It's about the right customer.
Exactly. The ones who are looking for what your restaurant does best.
So finding your niche and really highlighting what makes your place unique.
That's where all these SEO strategies come in.
Right. They're like tools.
Tools in your marketing toolkit. Each one helps you reach the right people and tell your story.
I love that analogy. It's not just a checklist. It's about using the right tools to build a great online presence.
So now that you've had a chance to absorb all this info, what are you most excited about?
You know, that whole local content rockstar thing really caught my attention. It just seems like such a great way to connect with the community, show off our personality, and attract those customers who are, looking for something special.
I love that. And remember, content is king when it comes to SEO. By creating valuable, engaging stuff.
Stuff that people actually want to read.
You're not only boosting your search ranking, you're also building those relationships and establishing yourself as kind of a thought leader in your community.
And it doesn't have to be complicated, right?
At all. It can be as simple as, sharing some behind-the-scenes stories on social media.
Or writing a blog post about local events.
Even just posting some amazing pictures of your food.
Exactly. The key is to be authentic.
Be creative. Be consistent.
And have fun with it.
Definitely. SEO shouldn't feel like a chore.
It should be an extension of the passion you have for your restaurant.
And remember, we're always here to help you navigate this crazy online world.
Absolutely. So to all our listeners out there,
get out there and make your restaurant shine.
We can't wait to see what you create.
Yeah.
And until next time,
Happy optimizing.
see you later.